Now, this message is a shocker. There was this particular church, a house church, where guys were going to prostitutes on the way to church. They're getting drunk at the Lord's Supper. They were taking one another to court. And they even allowed incest and didn't do anything about it. And they met in the house of a lady named Chloe. And this church was started by the Apostle Paul. I'm talking about the church of Corinth. Just read chapters 3 to 12 of 1 Corinthians, and you'll see that everything I said is accurate and true. Paul addresses this unhelpful, destructive behaviour. And he says this about this church at Corinth with all this immorality. He can say this in chapter 3, verse 1. My brothers. How can he call them brothers with all that sort of stuff going on? He called them my brothers. And what does he say to his brothers? I can't refer to you as spiritual, but as people of the flesh. Of the flesh? Christians? Well, you look at their behaviour, and that's what they were, of the flesh. But they were still brothers. They're still brothers. What they did didn't change who they were. They were still brothers regardless of their behaviour. You see, the problem of Christians involved in immorality is they don't know who they are. If you see yourself as a dirty person, if a girl sees herself as a dirty girl, she's going to behave that way. These folks didn't have a revelation of who they were. And Paul makes that very, very clear in chapter 1 and verse 2. And he says this, listen, to the church of Corinth, the brothers who were seeing prostitutes, getting drunk at the Lord's Supper, taking one another to court and allowing incest in chapter 5. He said, to the church at Corinth, those who are of the flesh, you are sanctified in Christ Jesus, holy. What? To the church at Corinth, those of the flesh, you are still sanctified, made holy in Christ Jesus. In Christ Jesus. That's who you are. That's who you are. Regardless of how many times you fail and fall, you are in Christ Jesus. You are fully holy. That's who you are. And what you do can never change that. Once you internalize this truth of who you really are, and it goes from your head down to your heart and say, oh my goodness, this is who I am, then you'll behave that way. And that's the key to victory in living a holy life. But regardless of what you do, you're holy all the time. Bless you.